Good morning, Sukvinder.
Good morning, Sukhvinder.
Morning, good morning.
Welcome everyone to the Free Friday coaching call. Super excited for today's call. For those of you that may be joining on the recording or joining for the first time, this call happens the first and third Fridays of each month. And I love doing these calls because we get to hear from the best of people that are willing to contribute and share for the better of everyone, really. And these calls have been running, I don't know, years and years and years now. And they're a combination of skill set and mindset dedicated to the real estate community. So there's people from all different companies that jump on this call at all different levels of experience with one thing in common. They're committed to learning and growing. And so I want to welcome everyone that's here live and then people that may be catching it on the recording as well. For those of you that may not know me, my name is Casey Council Jiha, and these calls were started by my late husband, Rick, who spent 43 years in the industry as a top selling real estate agent, running a team as well as coaching. He owned offices, did all kinds of things. And his main objective was helping people that wanted to be helped. And so this is a one to many conversation versus all of the one to one conversations that he inevitably had behind the scenes as a way to bring community together and keep learning and growing. So we're excited to continue doing that and really looking forward to jumping into today. The person that we're going to hear from today is somebody that I actually had the pleasure of having in my home before I knew or had a developed a relationship with her. And I knew of her as a result of being connected to her in business, but did not know her. And I remember very distinctly over the course of a couple of days in a 2 day intensive retreat that we were doing here, you get to know a lot about people when there's an environment where people can be who they are and have whatever they're going to experience be okay because they're in a community of people that care for each other and that are all committed to supporting one another and having each other's backs. And my experience of this person in that setting over the course of 2 days is a very a quiet strength, someone that is doesn't need to stand from the rooftops and say, "Look at me, I'm here." But her presence is so powerful and so strong before she even ever opens her mouth. And she comes to the call today in our industry with over 26 years in it. She's been a broker in the state of Texas for over 20 years. She has taught, coached, mentored, trained from her own sales team to other people that just come into her ecosystem. She's somebody that loves helping to grow people and invest in people. And above and beyond all of that, she is somebody that is heart-centered and principle-driven, and someone that I am grateful to have in my community and in my corner of life and in the world. So, without further ado, would love to welcome you, Betsy Nava-Flores, to our call today. Thank you so much for being with us. And for people that haven't met you or don't know you, would love to get your quick kind of backstory, what you were doing before real estate, why you've chosen this industry and why you've stayed in it, and what you're most excited about moving forward.
Oh, thank you for that introduction, Casey. I'm so grateful to be in this environment and in this circle. Actually, it's just I meet people daily, and I'm just so blessed when I think about all the people that pour into me. So grateful for you all. Yeah, so I'm Betsy Nava-Flores. I am a native. I call myself native Texan because I've been here most of my life, but I actually was born in Riverside County, California, and so just I have family all over the West Coast, all over South Texas, and so I love, love, love the city of San Antonio. So I've been here all my most of my life. But before I actually did real estate, my husband, I was in college. I was 20 plus before I went back to college, and so I was doing IT. I was in a business school at UTSA. Go Runners, and Dell came to recruit on campus, and my husband had told me, he says, "Hey, I just need to take one real estate class. Will you come to class with me?" Because he gets like this test anxiety. So I said, "Yeah, I guess." I was in my summer break. I said, "I'll take a class," and then it actually was three classes, and so I just done a business law class. I got my class out of the way. I got my three classes out of the way. I got my real estate license out of the way. And so I was doing real estate my senior year in college. And it took him like literally 20 times before he passed the real estate exam. And so I was carrying the real estate business and my senior year in school. And then Dell came and recruited, and I was already an employee of Dell and did real estate. So I kind of have had the best of all worlds. I actually eventually left IT because the market just tanked in IT, and so I just continued real estate full time. So I'm not here by accident because I think there's always divine purposes and intervention from the Lord, and so I'm here 26 years now in real estate, and I love it. Um, Worked with my husband for 26 years, and sometimes that's really hard, right, Casey? Just kind of battle of the minds, but yeah, so we do run us. I've been with the XP for 5 years. I just got my fifth icon award message like last week. But we've been doing real estate at a high level, I think, for the San Antonio market now. Our team is about 20 strong. And I say 20 strong because everybody pours into each other and really great. But my goal and my passion is to teach. And so every time I have an opportunity to help somebody, even if they're not with the XP or in our organization or whatever, I find a purpose in my life to be able to pour into others. So yeah, that's what I do. That's what I love to do. And if there's anything today that I can share with y'all, you might already be doing it. I'm not sure, but I'm excited to see when others learn even a little bit. I mean, it just kind of blows my mind. So
I love
that's what I.
that. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. And so in the context of teaching and real estate, it's this conversation where these two things converge of we know that listings drive more business because with listings you get multiple buyer contracts if you're working the listing the way a listing is designed to be worked. And so there's what is it, the list to last. People say that in our industry, right? And now there's this additional layer of how AI is converging in the business of real estate. And when it first became a hot topic, everyone was not everyone from a realtor perspective. There may have been some people from a realtor's perspective, but people that were not real estate agents going, oh, AI is going to replace realtors. And then, I think some real estate agents were panicked about that and others weren't. And then as time goes on and people understand, no, AI is not going to replace realtors. It's the realtors that are using AI will find themselves more valuable in the marketplace than the ones that are not. And so, like anything, it's a new skill set. And I'm excited for today's topic because we're going to be in this conversation and combination about utilizing AI to make you a stronger listing presentation, to capture more listings, have more sellers to serve in the market, and then ultimately more buyers that come as a result of that process. So, where would you like to start the conversation today? And also, just to give everybody a heads up, it's interactive. So, if you have questions, come come off mute, put stuff in the chat. It's designed to be a conversation, and it's actually instead of telling you what to do, she's going to show you how to do it by doing it, live here today, which I'm excited for. So, take it away, Betsy.
Yeah, so that's so true. I love listings. Some people hate listings, and I love them. I know it's right now it's not the most favorable market for some sellers in some areas. In San Antonio specifically, we do have longer days on market. It's not an impossible task, but I definitely believe that the way we present our listings is crucial. It's not just sign in the yard, the lockbox. We all knew that already. But talking about the property and its specific features is super important. So I always tell people, like, I don't ever give anybody a number up front. I say, hey, I want the appointment first, right? I want to come and see your home. I want to get my eyes on it. I want to see what it looks like. And sometimes sellers can meet me there. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're not in the area. But my goal is to get my eyes on the home and kind of like, I don't know who bakes bread, right? But like when you need the dough, it's like you really can't get a feel for it until your fingers are in it, right? And so I tell people the same thing. It's like I can put my eyes on something and say, oh, it looks ready, but I want to feel it. I want to see it. I want to walk it. I want to look at the walls. I want to smell it, right? I mean, those are things that are kind of important for sellers to understand. And I've owned dogs. I have nothing against dogs or cats or animals, but when you get in the home and it smells funny or it just feels weird or you're like this exotic chef and you have all the scents and the smells, Those are things that you can't really put a finger on until you actually get your nose in there, right? And so I always make it a point to never give somebody a number up front, but I want to come to the home and I want to have that one-on-one relationship with that person, kind of let them know, like, hey, I'm not just here to put a sign on your, I'm here for you to be strategic. And the only way for us to do that is to really address the, elephant in the room, right? If we're talking about dirty baseboards or we're talking about, overcrowded rooms or anything like that, those are important things for me to know so that I can help you get your home on the market. And so that's the first step traditionally, is just to make sure that I'm walking in there. If the baseboards need to get cleaned, if there's dog hair all over the place, if there's um, millwork that needs to be addressed, if there's wood rot, if there's fascia boards that are rotted out, they're splitting, all the things that people don't really realize. I tell them, look, Zillow is really great and they'll give you a number, but they can't see your baseboards. They can't smell your house. They can't see, like the things that you need to address. And so that's a big part of understanding someone's home. Of course, I'm not going to offend them, but I definitely want to help them understand what they're competing with, right? And in San Antonio, I mean, we're like probably one of the hottest cities in terms of new construction starts, right? And so when you're comparing your home to a brand new model home that's never been lived in, it smells fantastic, everything is in place, it's all decluttered. This is your competition. In anything, whether you're an athlete or whether you're selling a home, you have to be competitive to compete, right? So I'm here to help you with that. So I want to make sure that I document everything. I take pictures of specific things, of their beautiful features, as well as the features that need attention, because I'm going to take this back home and I'm going to create a report for you, so that we can work out the plan, right? This is not a listing presentation. This is a strategy, and we're going to work this together. And so it makes them feel comfortable, because sometimes people don't know what they don't know, right? They maybe never have sold a home, or maybe they have had the experience like 10 years ago. Well, that's not today's market. So I gather all this information, I gather all my input, and then I will create, I don't know, in San Antonio, we use RPR, which is their Realty Property Resource, right? So we use those reports consistently, to help build a case for our client, right? And then we also talk about the things that they need to know, that are great about their home, right? Do they have a entertainment? Is it an entertainer's house? Is it a chef's kitchen? What is it? So we take all the ingredients, and I tell realtors, I know maybe you haven't had the experience, but you can get a feel for a lot of these things when you walk into a house. And so we take all this information and we build a case and a story for their home. So I gather all this information, I plug it into ChatGPT at the most basic level. I've built a prompt, and I probably should do like a custom GPT or whatever, but I don't want to get too techie with people because not everybody understands it at that level. I want to keep it basic for them. And so I just built a prompt, plug it into ChatGPT, and then you fill in certain blanks. Your reports are going to fill in most of those blanks, but the feel that you got and the features specific to that home, or the things that might cause red flags for appraisers, those are the things that are specific to this property, and you want to put it in there. If this home has a specific, like I just did one this morning for a property that has an acre. It has a beautiful home, but they have a gym, a basketball gym, a half court basketball gym. It could be a volleyball gym, whatever, but it's like a 2,000 square foot gym with 20-foot ceilings. Okay, so that's a specific buyer, right? We know that that's going to be a specific buyer. And then they have this amazing pavilion outside where they have an outdoor kitchen, and it's got this big dance floor, and it's got all this stuff. So it's a very specific home. So that's going to speak to a specific buyer. And I want that to be in my report, because I want to be able to click that, save it, and send it to a buyer potentially, or a buyer's agent that's trying to make a case for their client. So I want all this information in one place. And so I use that, I take that, I tell ChatGPT, I give it the prompt, this is what I have and this is what I want. And then Chat gives me a prompt, and I said, okay, now convert that into a Gamma prompt. So is everybody using kind of the same tools? Does everybody use Gamma for presentation builders? No. So there's a free version and then there's a paid version. And so I do use the paid version because I have multiple projects that I do over the month. But this is a really great tool. I tell people, you budget like a business owner. Um, Mechanic needs sockets and wrenches and stuff. A baker needs pans and ingredients, right? So a realtor needs to have certain tools as well. And so I use Gamma as a presentation builder, and I take that prompt, plug it into Gamma, and it gives me a beautiful presentation. You can choose your theme. I'm very conscious about like visual. Seeing different things, right? Like how people have visual disability can't read something that's neon pink, right? So I try to keep it basic, but I try to make sure that it is a presentation that's easy for them to read and easy for them to digest. Because I'm a data geek. I love numbers and they make sense to me. And I can look at a spreadsheet and I can say, oh, yeah, that's this or that's that, but not everybody can. And so then I take that information, I built that out, and I put all the beautiful features that they had, and then the red flags, and then we talk about a strategy. And so that Gamma creates that for me, and then I can just share that with them, or I can print it, bind it, deliver it, or I can send it as a link, and they can review it anytime they want. They can revisit it anytime they want. 10 out of 10. I've not lost a listing because I know that sellers need more than just a number. They need a reason why that number, right? And then another benefit, obviously, is if that number is like, oh, I need to have 500, yes, 500,000 in San Antonio, 500,000, I need that number, but your home is not a $500,000 home. And we discussed this because you needed to do baseboards, you need to do these things. This is why we're having to have a discussion about price adjustment. And it's not painful because you've already laid it out front for them, right? So it's a win-win-win. I always reference back to it and I tell them, like, let's go back and look at what we talked about from the beginning. So it's always been one of those things like, oh man, I don't want to have to tell the seller they have to reduce their price, but you have all the data, you've already discussed it with them, you've shared it with them, it's in the report. They can discuss it amongst themselves and then they can make a decision where they want to be, right? So, if you guys have any questions, I can answer them or I can just kind of pop into like one of the presentations that I did for them. And then you can see it in real time. I already kind of had everything pre-populated for another project I was doing. So, good.
Yeah, I think so. For our visual people, number one is what is that prompt up front
Mhm.
that you're using when you put into chat based on the metrics and the different things that you have on the actual property? And then what is that like? Can we see how that process goes through chat as you share your screen? And then what you take in the prompt that actually goes to build the Gamma presentation? Because you made it sound so easy.
Well, yeah. And again, right, the hard work is the thinking, I think, is the hard work. It's like thinking what you want your outcome to be. And for me, it's just kind of been trial and error. Like, what do I want my client to know? And the beautiful part about chat is like you can correct it. You could say, okay, you know what? No, that house is actually 3,000 square feet, not 4,900 square feet, because it was combining it with a gym. And so I had to go back and tell it, okay, no, it's this instead. So you can always tweak it. And then when you have your final result, you can just tell chat, okay, now give me the prompt for Gamma, and it'll give you the prompt for the Gamma. You take that prompt and you plug it into Gamma, and it's just a copy and paste. So I think the hardest part is really finding how, like when you stir your pinky in there, taste the ingredients, right? It's like kind of feeling like what is the final outcome of that recipe that you really wanted to get the best flavor out of. I'm a foodie, guys. I'm sorry, but I love like recipes and I love to play with things, but sometimes it's not like, oh, you need a pinch of pepper or like a teaspoon of salt or whatever. Like it's every ingredient is going to be a little bit different because every seller is different, right? Every property is different. So it sounds complicated, but I think once you understand it and you get it, it's like a three-step process in terms of like technical, but the work up front is gathering your evidence, basically.
Cool. So I think you have screen sharing abilities. Can you give us an actual demonstration of everything that you just
Oh,
described?
let me see where I'm at. Share. See what I'm going to share. Okay, let me see if this works. So I was working on a property in adjacent county. It's outside of San Antonio, but I was working on their home, and so it has multiple properties. One of them is a 1 acre, one of them is a half acre where his dad lives, and so I started to work on the half acre one. But I'll kind of share what I had done with the previous property. So in RPR, like our RPR looks like this. I think everyone's looks the same, but basically what I do is I go into RPR and I'll create the information for like this one was Lytle, Texas.
So
Um,
we're not seeing, I can see your
oh,
toolbar, but I don't see your actual screen.
okay. I think it's because it is a different page. Let me see. Okay. Um, I think I switched pages on you. So in
There we
RPR,
go.
okay, so it's in
Yep.
Lytle, Texas, and basically Lytle is a small town, and it's got a lot of little neighborhoods in small neighborhoods. It's not like a real specific neighborhood, but what I do specifically is I'll create a report for Lytle, Texas, and so these reports are all in RPR. Is everybody familiar with RPR? Anybody not using their RPR for market trends and things like that? So I like to see the reports. I like the market trend report because it tells me like the demographics, what kind of people are living there, what's their income source is, things like that. Then the market activity actually tells me like all the things that are selling, what's the average price point, days on market, inventory, and then like a specific neighborhood template. And so I'll download all three of these because they're all useful. And I've already downloaded them, so I already have them living up here. And then what I'll do is like in my MLS, I'll do a market analysis because then these are the houses that best compare to this specific home. It's a little small house on half an acre, so it's very specific. So I'm looking for very specific homes. RPR sometimes is good for that, but it doesn't take into account that this house is not a manufactured home. It's an actual little custom built house. But then I know specifically about this property that it needs flooring, it needs paint. There's a lot of things that need work on it because I already walked it. But I picked the four that I thought were the most comparable to this property, and they range from like a quarter acre to an acre and a quarter or so. And so I took the information, I already downloaded all this stuff. And so I won't bore you with the how do I do a CMA because I'm pretty sure most people know how to do a CMA. So I take the data and I take all this information. And then one other piece of data that I take is going to be the property report for the this specific, oops, timed out on me. So for this specific property. And so I have all that already put together. So on this one, I'm sorry, hold on. I don't think I pulled this one down. Give me a second. I just need to pull one more report, which is my CRS report. And that has all of our tax information. So I don't have to repopulate any information for them. It's already in there. So while I'm getting that, basically in my chat report, I'll take the prompt, and I'll share all this with you so you can share with our audience today. But I'll take the prompt that I have for the um, CMA, I mean for the presentation, and I'll have that ready so I can just plug it in. Now, I thought about creating like a custom GPT for it, and that's kind of all in the process, but it's one of those things. It's like, well, what's most important today? I can create that too, but I just thought like, well, I'm just going to put this in for presentation purposes. So give me just a second. Okay, this is the half acre. Okay. Um, are you seeing my? ChatGPT screen?
Yep.
Okay, so this is one that I already did for the main house on it. And that one was basically this is my prompt. And so I just basically take this prompt and copy it, and I just applied it to the other houses. And but this is where on this specific property, I was telling you it had unique properties. So this prompt here tells you, okay, put in your special steps. So this property has a detached half court indoor basketball gym. I described its features. It has a pavilion. This is the one comparable that I thought was the best comparable because it's a little unique, right? So this is the one comparable. And then I just kind of told it, this is what I want to adjust. I want to adjust for the structure. I want to adjust for the pavilion. And there's also some standalone solar panels. That's kind of a hit and miss because some people value solar panels, some don't. But I didn't put a value to it because I was going to let ChatGPT do that. And so I said, help me build a case for these adjustments. This is an example. So this is a prompt that I'm going to create a custom GPT for. I wanted to give me a pricing strategy because I already know what I wanted. So these are the ingredients that I'm pouring into it. I'm going to put the documents in there. And so basically that prompt is all the fields and all the research that I already pulled in. And so then I forgot to plug in my documents, which I went back and I did this. I plugged in all the documents. And then now that he had the reports, okay, this is my position. So chat gives me their position, but in my mind, I already know what I want from it. And so we're talking about it, and it says, oh, these are 4,900 square feet. I said, no, apologies. It's not 4,900 square feet. It's 3,200 square feet, the house. So then it goes back, says, okay, let's readjust. And so it gives me adjustments. Let's change the subject property to 3,200 square feet. So sometimes things, you might forget, and that's okay. Chat is very forgiving, shows a lot of grace. So it adjusted everything, revised the analysis, what changes. It gives me the case against the pure price per square foot. So it's doing a lot of the mental work that would normally take me a week, but 2 weeks maybe to like think about all these things and put it into a actual like breakdown. And it does all that. I said, okay, yeah, I checked my work. I said, yeah, that's what I want. So now that we have everything together, give me a gamma prompt to build my presentation. And so says, okay, copy and paste this entire prompt into Gamma. So just hit this little copy button here, and it gives me the prompt that I need for my Gamma. So I took this prompt just as it is. Let me see. Why is it not letting me copy? So I took this prompt and then just went over to my Gamma app. And Gamma is gamma.app, right? So it already created the presentation for me, but for the sake of presentation, this is where this built it out. I didn't touch anything. I haven't changed anything in this thing. I just plugged in the prompt and it generated this report for me. And so this is all the information about the house, what makes this property special, our marketing material, everything is in here. And then I can just simply share this and I'll get to that link, but I could just share this link with somebody or I can export it into a PDF or something else. What I love about this is that you can actually view analytics. So I've emailed this report to myself, but you can see when somebody opens it and how many cards were viewed. And that is like really powerful. I know if I only shared it with one person, then I know that's the person that viewed it. So that was one of the ones that I just did this morning. And I thought it was like really quick. It took me about 30 minutes to pull all the pieces in. And then, of course, all the things in my mind that I had already felt at the listing appointment, and I plugged it in. I have some pictures that I took of different things, so I'll just change these pictures out to like their home, their pavilion, their gym, and they can visit this anytime. They have any questions? What did she say? She was talking so fast. What was that about? They can always come back here and they can review those statistics and everything in there. I love the fact that I don't have to be the bad guy necessarily when I tell them why we're adjusting some things because chat will help me put to build that out. And then it helps me to build a story, right? So when I put my comments into my descriptions or my ad, I know who I'm speaking to. This is not a home for someone that's 55 and over, right? This is not for a downsizer necessarily. May not even be somebody's first home. So I'm not going to speak the language that belongs to someone that has kids that are athletes, right? Or people that love to entertain, or maybe people that just need that kind of space, right? This is speaking a specific language to someone, and that helps me to help the seller and even a buyer to really feel like this is the one. So yeah, I'm trying to get my chat to allow me to copy this. And it's not, I don't know what's going on. But that's where we're changing how we're showing up for our clients and how we're telling a story for them so that they understand and we're a team. I'm not against them, they're not against me. We're a team and we all know the goal. Like this is the goal. Um, so that's what Gamma looks like. I'm trying to see if I can get another prompt here. This is my listing presentation template. No, that was not it. This is another one that we did that was a unique property. It actually has two properties together, but it's a church and it's a very specific. It's one has a little sanctuary on it, but the other one has a just a vacant lot, but it does have some features. Let me see. Let me do this one so you can see. So I'll go back here into my Gamma presentations. I'm going to create a new presentation and I'm going to generate from a prompt. And you're going to plug that prompt in here. And it's going to, I've already done this for the little church. And so I'm just going to recreate it. So you can do presentations, you can do a web page, you can do a document, you can do social graphic, you can do all these. I haven't played with all that. Honestly, there's so many tools. I could go shiny object on all this stuff. I just want a presentation. And so it already prompted everything in here for me for Gamma because chat is super smart. And when I go to edit the prompt, if you want to change anything, you can. But otherwise, you have options. So the paid version gives you free form. If it's a free version, it's like a limit of so many cards or slides in your presentation. And you can go minimal, concise. I like the detailed because it has a nice balance between text and graphics. And because this is a very specific property, the Gamma prompt already included some of those things. And then again, you can choose your theme. I mean, if you like to be pink and bubbly, bubblegum, you can do that. For the sake of a professional presentation, this was to the board of the Schoenstatt church or their movement. So I just kept it simple. Um, so you can choose your theme in there. And then basically, I had already checked all this work. So I'll just show you how quick Gamma does the work. So I had already done all the work that goes to that. And then just click this generate button down here. And you'll appreciate how quickly chat and Gamma work together. So plugs everything in for you. Takes maybe like 2 minutes to do. And that's the bulk of it. Like you don't have to recreate anything and drag and drop graphs and, do all that stuff. I mean, it breaks it down. And so I did this with one of our agents for the church and they loved it. They loved it. So that's kind of what makes you different. I don't know anybody else in our community that's doing it or using it the way I do it. Um, I've used it for classes, for courses, for this presentation. Yesterday, I used it for a veteran that I got on the phone with on one of our leads and found out that he was a veteran and he was choosing between San Antonio and Las Cruces, New Mexico. And I asked him, he said he was a veteran. And I said, oh, okay. Did you know of all the benefits that veterans get in Texas? He says, no. How about, like, what about that? I said, well, our tax discount, right? If you're a disabled veteran, there's property tax discounts. We don't have a state tax. We have the Hazelwood Act. And I was telling him all the things that were in my brain. And I mean, he probably didn't take a single note. So I told my daughter who was sitting next to me, I said, get me a guide for veterans for San Antonio, right? Put in the prompt, create me the ultimate mover relocation guide for veterans to San Antonio, Texas. In 5 minutes, she had the report for me. We put the link in an email, sent it off to him, and he watched it last night at 8:30 last night. And I was like, yeah, that's where you're going to be the person that is quick. AI is not going to replace my knowledge, right? They're not going to replace Betsy's personality. It's going to help me build a case for why you would want to use me or our team. And so this is what we do. So this is everything that it builds out. And I mean, it's only a few minutes, but the hard work is you putting your fingers in the dough, right? Like you putting all the pieces together. Everything else is like super simple to do. So that's two AI tools and some elbow grease, and there's the presentation. Any questions?
Yes, I'd like to hire you.
I'm at your service.
How much
Yeah.
can I pay you?
Well, this is, I mean, there's really not a lot of, I tell people like I have some dumbbells in my office and they're cute and they're pink. But if I don't pick them up and use them, they're useless. You know, they're just sitting there doing nothing. And I tell them the same thing. I said, look, you have a lot of free tools. Um, you don't have to buy all this expensive stuff. You have a lot of free tools at your disposal. Just use it and pick the ones that you really love and the ones that are moving the needle and making the boat go faster and use it. And don't second guess. Like, yeah, I made mistakes in my chat prompt, but I corrected it, right? It's very forgiving and it didn't take me very long to do it. I just had to do it. But I love it because the presentation lives. It lives, and they can come back here and take a look at it. So that was that moving to Military City, USA. That's the one that Mia did for me last night. And when I look at the analytics on it, like I know I opened it this morning, but that guy opened it last night at 8:11. And so my on my to-do is this morning, it says, "Hey Russell, how are you doing? I hope you got my relocation guide. What did you think?" I don't want to be creepy and say I saw that you opened it, but I saw that he opened it. So I'm going to follow up with him and say, "What did you think? Is there anything else that I can provide for you? Anything that's of interest?" Um, It's follow up, right? It fuels us to be able to serve somebody better when you know exactly what they need, what their pain point is, what their deciding factors are. So those are really great opportunities. I'm not sure if anybody um, has opportunities to still create reports. I mean, I don't know if everybody does still in production or sales or leaders or whatever, but it's been super helpful. And like I said, I use it for all our listings. I use it for our buyer's guides. I use it for a newsletter that I give to my team on a weekly basis. This link goes out to them. It's a notice, it's quotes, it's what's coming up next week. It's a free AI tool. So like I use it as a newsletter link. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's endless. If you can think it, AI can do it, but somebody's got to put the prompt in, right? And who better
Yeah.
than the professional?
So we had a question in the chat of will you be sharing the basic prompt so that we can start to make it our own?
Yes. And I think I even started doing a gamma for this exact class. So I will share that with you along with the prompt, and that way you could plug it in. But honestly, I think the possibilities are endless. So this is just a listing process, but again, everybody does a little different. And when you're in competition, eh, people like that you know what you're talking about. And the research that you do is going to teach you, right? But the presentation is what's going to set you apart. But I will share
Love
that
that.
with you.
Cool. Does anyone have any other questions or comments?
Let me see. I can
I have
see
a
it.
comment.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, thank you. This was very, very helpful. And what you're going over here is like if we look at the bigger picture on what you're doing, it's really personalizing the messaging and like you being a real human and showing that you care. And I think that's huge because admittedly it's like, our listing presentation is our listing presentation. And so it's not personalized to the individual property, but it's also not personalized to the individual person. And I think a lot of what you're doing here caters to that. The other thing that is sort of interesting and it like has my brain going is like how do we use that in recruiting too, right? Like are there presentations about that specific person and what's unique about them and how they can potentially, fit in with the within the organization. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I haven't done a presentation because I'm sorry, I'm not like I should be better about agent attraction, but I do use it for like courses, and then I'll take that presentation and I'll put it into Stan Store, and then I offer that to people that are interested in joining me if they want to learn. But I think that would be a great opportunity to do some. Why join me at EXP?
Cool. All right. Well, thank you so much. I can tell I can see eyeballs and things swimming and people getting ideas. And so we appreciate you. I love the simplicity of it, right? Of you doing the upfront legwork and the thinking work, and then you using this as a tool, right? So not every job needs a hammer and it's knowing what tool to use when, right? And so through using chat and gamma, those two tools, whether someone's going to use the free version or the paid version obviously is going to be up to them, but if there's somebody that is probably going to want the paid version, if they're doing a good amount of business and wanting to do more business, to have everything be able to open up and be able to unlock the value of the actual tool. And then of course I love, obviously, like the greatest way to learn about something is to go play with it. uh, Once you've gotten an overview of what's possible and can see it, now people can go, like Debbie said, how do I take it and make it my own and utilize it in a way that's going to be specific to my needs? And then from there, of course, things branch out and continue to grow. So thank you so much for being on this morning, for sharing with all of us. Really great content, great information. What is the best way do you want to put the prompt in the chat box below, or what's the best way to get the prompt to us?
Yeah, let me get that because I know it wasn't allowing me to do it just a minute ago, but let me see if I can now that I stopped sharing. I can reopen this.
I can
Um,
also, when the recording email goes out, what I can do is put the prompt in a Google Doc that is in that email that says access prompt here, that sort of thing.
yeah,
That'd be great.
yeah, I'll copy it here. It's a little lengthy, but obviously you're gonna want to put in um your recommendations. I think I'm 6 characters over. So clearly label and that last word says them.
Perfect.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I'll send this over to you, Selena, in a gamma presentation.
You're on mute, Selena.
Yeah, I was overthinking and I was like, I don't even know what to share or think. I think everybody's seen so many things that, I feel the same way. It's like, oh my goodness, like why we're kind of chasing everything, but not really like honing in on the important things. And so I was overthinking.
Well, and I love it because it's an actionable item that everybody can take and can use today in their business. So thank you again for sharing it. Thanks everyone for being here. The recording will be housed on our YouTube channel on empirebuilders.pro under the Free Friday Coaching Call tab. And make it a great rest of your Friday, everyone. Thanks again, Betsy. Appreciate you. Good to see everyone.
Bye.
Take care.